In this example, Fruhlingstraum, number 11 from Winterreise, we have come from A major and now we are temporarily in E minor here in the first inversion. The second half of that measure might be thought of as an incomplete 5-6 with the E as an organ point, or you can view the F sharp and A as lower neighboring tones. Take your pick. It is the second half of the next measure that has our attention. Susan Ewens, in her excellent book on the Winterreise, Retracing a Winter's Journey, gives a wonderful overall description of what's going on and leaves us to analyze the tone cluster, as she calls it. It certainly is a cluster of dissonance, but there's a bit more going on. Take a look at the A sharp and C in the left hand. Does the spelling raise an eyebrow? Also, notice that the two notes resolve inwards to a common B. Well, if we were to invert the A sharp and the C, we'd have a conventional augmented sixth, resolving outward as we'd expect. However, Schubert is hardly treating this as a simple augmented sixth. The inversion has a jarring effect. This is the romantic excess of a tortured dream, of reality interrupting the reverie. And what about that E? It's with us for the two measures, so we might consider it organ point. I favor the idea that we're in E minor-ish, with the note E intruding throughout. Take a look at the next two measures. That E minor is now part of a 2-6-5-7-1 in D minor. The second half of measure 4 has the identical structure to measure 2. This entire four-measure idea repeats itself up a minor third. Now that clash of notes is low down in the left hand, an explosion. At measure 8, we've returned to A minor with a pedal point A. The only other issue to concern us is the B-flat triad in the first inversion. A Neapolitan sixth? Well, it certainly is spelled that way, but it's hard to hear it as a substitute for the 4 chord as in classical times. It may be more accurate to think of this as A minor all the way, with the entire B-flat being just a chromatic coloration to A minor, in the same way that today's jazz composers do planing, temporary chromatic chords stepping a half a step outside the main chord. Clearly, we're in A minor for the rest of the example. Well, what's going on? Schubert is inventing Romanticism, using the vocabulary of the classical composers, the era of common practice, as college theory classes teach. He's using it in new configurations to make new points and to introduce new ways of expressing music. But the giants of the classical era are still very visible in his rearview mirror in his formulation and nomenclature of harmony, much like that T-Rex in Jurassic Park. Thanks for watching and listening.